Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Atlassian co-founder and co-CEO, Scott Farquhar.
Wow. What an incredible display of teamwork. Thank you, Lumitron. Let's hear it again for Lumitron. Hola, benvenidos, y benvinguts. Welcome to Atlassian's first ever European Summit. We are super excited to have you all here today. Isn't Barcelona such a beautiful city for those of you here on the weekend? And it looks like we have an incredibly good-looking crowd here today. We have almost 1,800 of you here today from 54 countries. This is a sellout event. We're turning people away. We have thousands more watching the live stream at home. And I couldn't be more excited to spend this week with you, to share the way that we work, to share some of the things we have in store for you coming down the pipeline. I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. Without our sponsors, this event would not be possible, and we have over 90 sponsors represented here today. Now, all of you are incredibly important to Atlassian, incredibly special to us, but I want to say a particular thanks to our Diamond and Platinum sponsors, Draw.io, K15T, and Tempo. Huge round of applause for all our sponsors, without which it wouldn't be possible. All of our sponsors have a booth up on the show floor, and they all have incredible products and services. So make sure in the packed agenda that we have for you, make sure you carve out time to go and visit each and every one of the vendors up on the show floor. One person who couldn't be here today is my co-founder, Mike Cannon-Brooks. He had his second son a few weeks ago and is at home in Sydney, welcoming him into the family. He's watching the live stream at home and sends his apologies and wishes he could be here. So everyone give a wave to Mike. Hi, Mike. Wish you were here. Back when Mike and I started Atlassian, we really wanted to create a better world. We wanted to leave this world a better place than we found it. And we know that our products have an impact on every one of your teams each and every day. But another area that we have an impact through your help is through the Atlassian Foundation. Now, the Atlassian Foundation has three components. We donate employee time. Each of our employees gets 5 days a year to spend with any non-profit. And we've helped everyone from soup kitchens to complicated IT deployments through charities around the world. And we recently passed a milestone. We actually have over 20,000 volunteering hours we've now given to non-profits. The second part of our foundation is we donate 1% of our equity and 1% of our profit. And this money helps charities directly. And if you've been to our US Summit, you'll have heard some of those charities, such as Room to Read, and the impact we get to have directly on charities that help millions of people around the world. The third part, which often gets less publicity, but is an equally incredible impact, is that we give our products away for free. This donation of products free to non-profits who also recognize that teamwork is critical to their success. And recently we reached an important milestone. We've now given away over 50,000 licenses to non-profits around the world. This 50,000 licenses represents almost $100 million of software that helps non-profits collaborate, helps their teams be more effective. And to celebrate this incredible milestone, I want to share with you the stories from just two of these charities, the stories about how our products help them be more effective.
Kiva started in one single loan in Uganda. But in our 10 years, Kiva has grown to around 85 countries where we have borrowers.
Every day I'm trying to make this platform work better, to get more lenders, to put more money into the system. I know the impact that it can have, and to be able to hire new employees, to be able to send your children to school, to be able to be proud of your craft is an invaluable thing. If we can help enable that for one person, that's a beautiful thing, but to be able to do it for so many people in different countries around the world is a powerful concept.
Mercy Ships is an organization that is passionate about healthcare.
We bring a floating hospital into a country that doesn't have the capacity in their healthcare system and provide free healthcare services.
Fivalena was an adorable 9-year-old child who could not go to school because her legs were twisted and deformed, and she was not able to have a future in a life. The community licensing program of Atlassian has been huge for Mercy Ships. It allows us to take that money that we would have to spend on this software and use it instead to make people's lives better.
We're all looking to do something good in the world, and I think any tools that help us to do that, we want to share them and make sure all our fellow folks working in nonprofit work know about them as well, because the less time we spend dealing with tech problems, and more we can actually accomplish our missions of making the world a better place.
We honestly can't imagine parts of Mercy Ships without the Atlassian tools that we have access to today. And so we're grateful for the community license that's been granted to us.
When I think of Mercy Ships and Kiva, I definitely see those as organizations that are being empowered to do something right, and the tools Atlassian has provided makes it so that we can do what we need to do each and every day.
Wow, isn't that absolutely amazing? We're incredibly proud and humbled to play even a small part of the incredible work that organizations like Kiva and Mercy Ships do to make the world a better place. Now, the Atlassian Foundation model has been so successful for us as a company that we wanted to share it to help other companies to have the same impact on the world. And so 2 years ago, I co-founded Pledge 1% to make it easier for other companies to give back. Now, it's a simple model. Like Atlassian, you give 1% of your equity, 1% of your employee time, give your products away free to nonprofits, and also give your employee time 1% of profit as well. Just give 1% of everything. Like just give it away. And it's been in the short time, it's been incredibly successful. In only a couple of years, we've now been named as the #1 most innovative nonprofit by Fast Company. We are creating a movement. We are changing the face of corporate philanthropy. And when I say we, it really has been a team effort. A huge number of those companies that have taken the pledge are part of the Atlassian community. We have over 100 members of the Atlassian ecosystem who've taken the pledge 1%, and many of them are on this slide. And none of our philanthropic work, not our foundation, not Pledge 1%, none of it would be possible without our staff, our partners, and you, our customers. So I want to say thank you, whether you're a customer helping support Atlassian and our foundation, whether you're a partner and you've taken Pledge 1%, or whether you are working for one of these incredible nonprofits that make such a difference in the world. I want to say thank you and a round of applause for everything that you do. We live in an incredibly exciting time. If you could live any time in history, now would be it. Every day we get blown away by changes that were just a thing of science fiction a few years ago. And the pace of change is accelerating. The last 100 years have been truly remarkable. Our grandparents could not have imagined the world that we live in today. In 1969, we landed on the moon. It took us almost a decade and spent about $150 billion to do it. These days, SpaceX is landing reusable rockets almost every week and reducing the cost of space travel 100-fold. And there's a very good chance that each and every one of you in the audience will get a chance to be an astronaut. At the turn of the 20th century, Henry Ford gave birth to the mass production of the automobile with human-powered production lines. Today, the production lines are nearly all automated, and the cars can nearly drive themselves. 100 years ago, commercial air travel shrunk the world, making the world a smaller place, making anywhere almost accessible in a day or two. Today, virtual reality makes every corner of the world available instantly, further shrinking the world. And underlying all these advances are teams. Teams are more important than ever before. As innovation happens faster, as the world becomes a more complicated and complex place, as state-of-the-art advances further into the future, teams are more critical to success than ever before. Now, this was no more evident than a recent occurrence with someone close to Atlassian. One of the Atlassian family recently had a heart transplant. Now, her heart transplant took 9 hours and required the coordinated effort of multiple specialists. And if you think about it, this is a project with a very fixed deadline and no margin for error. The specialists involved, you have cardiologists, you have cardiothoracic surgeons, anaesthetists, radiologists, special care nurses, and that's not to mention all of the biomedical companies that create and maintain the equipment and the software and the tools that are required to make the surgery successful. It truly is a team effort to make this happen, and we're pleased to announce the operation was a complete success. Now, you know in your own organizations that this is true. In order to build the amazing things that you do, to impact your corner of the world, you require the collective work of the specialists in your organizations to come together in teams to make the impossible possible. And that's why our mission to unleash the potential of every team is so important. Teams are the cornerstone of human achievement, and that's why we get up every day. That's why more than 2,000 Atlassians tap dance to work, because of the impact we get to have on you and your teams inside your organizations. And the way we have this impact is in 3 distinct ways. Firstly, we create amazing software that helps your teams. Not just technical teams, not just software teams, all teams in your organizations to be more productive. But it's not just the software. We believe it's our job to advance the state of teamwork, do research, work out what it is that makes high-performance teams and share that with you. We discover and share best practices like our team playbook and our team health monitors. And finally, we also do this by empowering you, our champions, to take our tools, absorb our learnings, and ignite the passion in your own organizations to change the way that work gets done. And that's why this conference is so unique. This conference is like no other, because it truly is a partnership between Atlassian and you and the audience to make this change in your organizations. And recognizing this, you are the torchbearers of change. Each of you are helping your organizations make your team smarter, faster, and more effective. And knowing how critical you are in driving this change, over the last year we've revamped the way that we connect with you and the way that you connect with each other. Now, historically, the best way for us all to get together was Summit. And this year we've expanded Summit from 1 to 2. Summit's amazing. It is a complete, full of energy. The energy is sky high. But it only happens once and now twice a year. And for many of you, it's a plane flight away from your work and from your families. And so that's why we also have user groups. User groups are every month. They're an awesome way for you to meet and share knowledge, best practices, and learnings with people in your city. We have now over 107 user groups in 34 countries. In Europe alone, we have 5,000 user group members. And so you're probably close to a user group. And if you haven't yet joined one, I encourage you to find and join the one in your local area. But things are moving faster than ever before, as I said. What if you don't want to wait for the next user group, for the next summit? How do you maintain your relationships with the people you met here at Summit over the course of the year? How do you get your questions answered? And so today we're really excited to announce a new way of connecting with us every single day. It's like having a summit every single day. It's the Atlassian online community, a always-on place where you can connect with Atlassian, connect with each other, learn, but also teach and give back to the community. Now, imagine if you had summer, we have 1,000 people here. Imagine if you had 10 times that, 100 times that, 1,000 times that, and it was available every single day. Well, that's our online community. We have over 1.1 million members, and in the first month of launch, we had over 500,000 people visit this online community. Now, we're going to put all the summit videos online here so you can share them with people in your team that weren't lucky enough to come to the summit. And so I encourage you to join online, sign up to community.atlassian.com, or we have a community lounge here at the summit. Now, it's only a short distance from being a member of our community to building a career on Atlassian. And I discovered recently that there are over 45,000 open roles around the world involving Atlassian's products. 45,000. It's 45,000 jobs for Jira administrators, for Bitbucket developers, for HipChat experts. And that's an absolutely incredible number. And working with Atlassian is a must-have skill. And so over the last year, we've revamped our entire certification program. We now have 5 different Atlassian certifications, and these are important whether you are just getting started with Atlassian or you're a guru looking to advance your career. Now, these certifications have been incredibly popular. We have over 100 certified professionals in this room alone. But for those of you who aren't certified yet, please take this opportunity to check it out because it really will advance your career. So beyond creating amazing and rewarding careers, our ecosystem has also created hundreds of vibrant businesses, from single people working in their homes to large multi-100-person organizations. And the reason that we have so many of these businesses is because building on the back of Atlassian makes sense. Atlassian has 85,000 customers in 150 countries around the world. That's 85,000 companies who are looking for solutions, products, things that are provided by the Atlassian marketplace. And our marketplace makes it simple to transact. We take care of all the billing, we take care of all the customer contracts, allowing you, our ecosystem developers, to just build and focus on what you're best at, which is providing value to our customers. And Europe has been historically the biggest supporter of our marketplace, the single biggest region. We have almost half of our entire marketplace vendors located here in Europe alone. And I want to share the story of just one of these marketplace vendors. And this is really, so I'm really proud because we built an amazing software business from Sydney, Australia, and not typically known as a sort of bastion of software when we started 10 years ago, was outside Silicon Valley. And I'm really proud that we get to build businesses globally on the back of the Atlassian ecosystem. And I want to share with you one of these stories, Pedro, who's located in Portugal, and he's built his own business on the Atlassian ecosystem. Let's run that.
We started in 2003 in Portugal. We started as a technology services provider for enterprise integrations. We saw our sales began to take off, and we saw big brands and big customers such as Audi, Porsche, Lufthansa, Nike. They were purchasing our add-on. So that was the moment we realized all the potential what we had on the Atlassian marketplace. We managed to double our company just in 2 years. So we finished 2016 with around 160 employees. In the last 2 years, we went from 0 to more than 1 million annual sales. We truly admire how Atlassian has grown, their products and their culture. So being a part of that, of the Atlassian team, working side by side with them as a solution partner and building a software business on top of the Atlassian ecosystems makes us really proud.
What an awesome story. As I said, I'm really proud to hear stories like Pedro's because it's one of the most enjoyable parts of my job that we can create businesses on the back of the ecosystem. And last year, thanks to vendors like Pedro and hundreds of others, we managed to double the number of cloud add-ons in the marketplace, taking the total number of add-ons to over 3,000. That's 3,000 choices for you to extend your Atlassian tools. And I might be preaching to the converted here a little bit, because we ran the numbers and we worked out that about 80% of you in this room are already using at least one Atlassian add-on. But even those of you that are using one, I please encourage you to go back to the marketplace, because our marketplace is an innovation factory. We are creating new add-ons all the time, and you may not have seen the latest and greatest. Another important milestone is we've passed $250 million in lifetime marketplace sales. That's an incredible number that shows the demand in this audience and our customer base for add-ons. What an incredible achievement. And I want to say a huge heartfelt thanks to all of our marketplace vendors. We have hundreds of you, but a special thanks to the 129 who launched with us 5 years ago today and are still with us. Your success is our success, and we are really proud of what you've managed to achieve. So a huge round of applause for our marketplace vendors, please. So today, you're going to hear from us about 4 things. We're going to talk about how we're improving our products for you, our European customers. We want to explain and welcome another product to the Atlassian family in Trello. We're going to talk about how we've listened to your feedback and how we are changing the way that we deploy our software and how we think about packaging our software for you. And lastly, I want to share with you some of the exciting changes that we are making in how we design our products. Now, you may not know, but Atlassian has a long history with Europe. Back in 2002, we advertised Jira on a web page, and surprisingly, people bought it. Probably not because of our brilliant marketing, our web marketing and design skills. That's what our website looked like back in 2002. But it was you, the Europeans, that recognized the genius of Jira, and 4 of our first 5 customers came from Europe. And our first customer came from London, and I have that invoice printed still above my desk today in a big frame. Our first invoice came from Europe. What you may not know, though, is that in order to bootstrap Atlassian, because Mike and I didn't take venture capital, we built it from scratch. In order to get the money so we could build Jira, I worked for 3 months in the north of the Netherlands in a small town called Groningen. Is anyone here from Groningen? One person. It is really a small town. There is nothing to do there, especially in winter. But I would work all day consulting for KPN, which is the telecommunications company there, and at night I would code Jira during the Australian business hours. So you could say that Jira sort of has a Dutch heritage. And coming from those humble beginnings, I never would have guessed how far we've come. We now have tens of thousands of European customers, and we have some amazing stories about how those customers are using our products. I'd like to share with you one of these stories that blew me away. Let's hear how Lufthansa use Atlassian's products.
Lufthansa Systems is one of the leading providers for IT and consulting services in the aviation industry. We serve more than 300 airlines worldwide.
We have both service management and account management component, but we also develop, operate, and maintain customized solutions for these airlines. It's of great importance that we can use Atlassian to combine both the business and the IT development side. Because if we have an issue on the customer side, eventually it will involve our development team. If they can share the same tracking issues and the documentation, that is of a great advantage.
Right now we are running a Jira Core, Jira Software, we have Confluence, we have Fisheye and Crucible, we have a crowd server also in that platform.
We use Jira Core for project management. We work together with 25 to 30 people, cross-functional, production people, or sales people, or service delivery managers. Before we were using Atlassian, people were working in a very individual way, like doing it by email or doing it per telephone call. We need a software which is easy to set up and easy to learn and lean.
Any feature we need, either Atlassian tools already have, or we can find them on the marketplace, or we can build them ourselves. What Atlassian is offering us with their tools is a full enterprise solution. Anything you need, any features you need, you can do with Atlassian.
Wow, what a great story. And what's especially important to me is how broadly Lufthansa have deployed Atlassian's products. They really use Atlassian across their entire organization, really helping to unleash the potential in every single one of the teams. Now, two changes that we've made to help Lufthansa and other European customers are improvements to our translations and improved performance of our cloud in Europe. Let me talk first about translations. Now, Europeans speak a lot of languages, and that's evident when you walk around here in the breakout. You can hear the number of languages spoken. And today, Jira and Confluence are available in 9 languages, 6 of them European. And so in order to make it better for your teams to collaborate, to use our products, we are going to double the number of languages supported in Jira and Confluence. So over the next few months, we're adding an additional 13 languages, all of them European. So no matter where you come from, what language you speak, what language your team speaks, you'll be able to communicate and collaborate better using our products. And as I said, teamwork is not just about the tools, it's also about how people work together and the practices behind your teams. Last year at Summit, we launched the Team Playbook and the Team Health Monitor. The Team Health Monitor is a simple checklist you can use with your teams to see how effectively your teams are working together. And the Team Playbook is a list of plays or a list of practices that you can use to improve the effectiveness of your teams. Now, we're not only translating our products, we're also translating our playbook into more languages, which is going to make it easier for your teams everywhere to collaborate and improve how they work. We talk about cloud performance. Now, we have amazing cloud usage. It may surprise you that the Netherlands and the UK have a higher percentage of cloud customers than our United States customers. And even in this audience, the overwhelming majority of you use our cloud products already today, either solely in the cloud or a hybrid cloud on-premise solution. And we know that moving to the cloud and making this move, this transition, performance is key to you. And performance for us is critical. We think about it every single day, and it's core to a lot of the decisions we make in building our products. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years optimizing our JavaScript loads, putting content delivery networks in, making single-page applications so you don't have to refresh as much. But no matter what we do, because our data centers are located over in America, it means that someone in Boston is always going to get a faster experience than someone in Berlin. So over the last year, and in fact even maybe the last 2 years, we have completely re-architected the way our cloud products work to allow us more flexibility in how and where we deploy our applications. And so I'm pleased to announce that we've now opened our first data center in Europe, and the initial tests are amazing. They show that the latency has reduced or increased by 300%, and so that's going to make a huge difference to those of you that use our cloud products in Europe. We're in a closed beta today. If you are interested in signing up, please take a photo of the screen and sign up there. We are taking applications at the moment, and we know that this increase in performance is going to make a huge difference for those of you that are either using or migrating to the cloud. Next, I want to talk about Trello, a new product that we've welcomed in the Atlassian family. But before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about how we think about our products. You know that each team in your organization has their own favorite product. Salespeople use Salesforce, HR people use Workday, finance people use SAP, and hopefully your engineering teams use some of our products like Bitbucket or SourceTree or Fisheye or Crucible. But in order to create a high-performing organization, you need a standard way of communicating across all of your teams. As you move fast, as things need to happen, as the world is more interconnected and your organizations are more interconnected, you need products that all your teams work with. And so beyond our technical tools, these tools that our software teams use, we have 3 products that should be used by every single person across your organization. Not just one team, but every team in your company. We have HipChat, which is used to keep your teams in sync in real time, which is especially useful as the world gets faster and your teams become more distributed. We have Confluence, which serves as a knowledge repository for your entire organization, sort of your own internal Wikipedia where knowledge gets stored so it doesn't walk in and out of the building every single day. And Jira is the system of work that gets used across your organization to track dependencies, to track what is happening, and to make sure everyone's on the same page. And we know from chatting with our customers, we know that our highest performing customers, the companies that you would like to emulate, companies like Lufthansa, companies like Audi, companies like Amadeus, these high-performing companies are the ones that use our products across their entire organization. And without these products, working effectively across these organizations would not be possible. And so we're really pleased to welcome to the Atlassian family another product that should be used by every single person inside your organization. A product that will change the way that teamwork happens. I know that because we're using it now internally in Atlassian. We've even planned this keynote using Trello. So to introduce you to Trello, I would like to welcome to the stage Michael Pryor. Kill it.
Hello. So technically this is Trello's first Atlassian Summit, but I've been to a summit before. About 6 months ago, Mike and Scott invited me out to the summit that was taking place in California. And at the time, we were still talking about the acquisition, so I showed up and I was afraid someone was going to recognize me, so I had a baseball hat and sunglasses on. I was sitting out here in the keynote, which is totally ridiculous because no one was going to recognize me. But I remember sitting out there and being in awe at the size of the crowd. And the energy in the room was just amazing. And so it's an honor, and I'm super excited to be here today with that same energy to tell you a little bit about Trello. Can I raise the house lights for a second? How many of you have used Trello before? Raise your hand if you use Trello. Whoa. Okay, well then maybe I don't need to do this presentation. Okay, well just bear with me. For those of you who haven't, you've probably used a sticky note before, right? Jot down some notes, remember things, little reminder here and there. So we built Trello around the concept of sticky notes. In Trello, they're called cards. And on the back of the cards, you can have conversations, you can attach files, you can put labels, you can have people and checklists and many, many more things. Think of the card as a superpowered sticky note. You can group those cards into lists. You put the list together in a board. You add people to your board, and you can collaborate on anything you're working on. So that's it in a nutshell. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so how do we get 22 million people to sign up to use this product? Let me show you some examples that'll demonstrate why Trello is so flexible and so powerful. So let's say you're planning a vacation with your friends. You're going to go to Hawaii. So you need to keep track of the things that you need to do before you go. Don't forget to renew your passport. Got to get somebody to take care of your dog before you leave. And you might want to figure out, what are you going to do when you get there? Do you want to go on a helicopter tour with your friends? Do you want to go whale watching? You can put these up on a Trello board. People can vote. And your whole trip can take shape collaboratively with your friends. Let me show you another example. This is at work. Let's say you're hiring new people all the time. Your company is growing. You need a reliable way to onboard new employees. So you make a Trello board. You make a list of things that you need to do before the person gets there on their first day, like get them a new computer. You make a list of things the person needs to do, the new employee, on the first day when they get there, like get a tour, fill out some paperwork. Then they can mark those things as done when they're done. They can ask questions on the card. You'll get notified. You can put up some frequently asked questions, pictures of people in your office so that they remember their names when they get back to their desk. You've quickly given structure to a process within your company with very little hassle. Here's an example from my own life. This is a board that I made with my wife. So we recently moved from an apartment in the city to a house in the suburbs. And there was a lot of things that you have to do with a house. So I had to remember all these closing things and call all the vendors and get everything switched. My wife, she was on the board, she starts putting decorating ideas up there, new furniture she wants to put in the house. And one day I noticed a card pop up there, and I opened it up. I was like, what is this? And I discovered something that I didn't know before. Apparently, we needed a stuffed peacock in our living room. Did not know that, but Trello helped me figure that out. So thank you, Trello. This is a great example. So you can share boards with anyone. You can even share them with the whole world. So last month, Twitter, the company, they created a public Trello board. And they put their whole product roadmap up there so that they can communicate with their users. So they have 3 lists: nesting, incubating, and recently hatched as their features move through the pipeline. And it's just an easy way for them to broadcast what's going to happen in the product to their millions of users. I don't have time to go through all the examples, but there's thousands of ways on our website that people use Trello to solve their problems, both at work and at home. You know, from building an editorial calendar to planning a conference, from running a church group to just tracking your life goals. Y hoy, todos ustedes pueden usar Trello en 21 lenguas. No, idiomas. So, it doesn't matter what kind of team you're on either. So you could be on the sales team, the HR team, IT, finance, legal, engineering, support. We have playbooks for you at Trello.com Teams on how to get started right away. There's examples and things to do, how best to get your team on board to using Trello. We have all kinds of companies using Trello already. Pixar, Spotify, Deutsche Bahn, the German Railroad is a big Trello user. There's a startup here in Barcelona called Typeform. They're big fans. We even have, there's a burger franchise with 100 locations that runs entirely on Trello. So it's not just tech companies, it's all companies. It's all departments. It's all kinds of people. It's both work and at home that people are using Trello. And it already integrates with all the products you already use. So Jira, Confluence, HipChat, Bitbucket, is one click to connect them up, as well as Google Drive, GitHub, Slack, Dropbox, and many, many more. In fact, we have a whole API that lets you build on top of Trello to tie it into your own systems. And for those of you that are staying here for Atlas Camp later this week, we'll show you how to make one of those integrations. We call them power-ups, but it's really simple to do. So over 22 million people have signed up. If you don't already have a Trello account, we'd love to get you signed up. We'd love for you to join us and start getting perspective on everything that you do. We have a special URL. If you go there, trello.com/summit, you can sign up and get 3 months of Trello Gold for free. So check it out. Thanks for listening, and thanks for having me. Back to Scott.
I could not be more excited to have Michael and the Trello team join Atlassian. They are such an incredible cultural fit. The product is amazing, and we're so lucky to have Michael as part of the team. Now, everyone in your organization should use Trello. Doesn't matter if they use any of Atlassian's other tools. Trello can be the gateway drug to Atlassian. And I want to show you now a video of one of our customers that use all of the Atlassian products, including Trello, to get work done.
Flixbus is a European mobility provider offering bus rides, so the booking of bus rides across Europe.
One of our slogans is travel is the only thing you can buy that makes you richer.
Our vision is to bring green and smart mobility to everyone to experience the world.
Flixbus is considered one of the fastest growing companies across Europe, and personally we experience that growth on a daily basis.
After a certain time when you adopt and grow, the challenge is making people work together.
The most essential thing when collaborating is communication, and Atlassian products really help to become more efficient because it helps to become more transparent.
At Flixbus everybody uses Atlassian tools. It all started with Jira software in the engineering department, but now even finance is using Jira software. Others are using Confluence. The HR people are using Trello.
We use Trello for idea generation, especially with our business owners. And once these ideas are ready, we then transfer them over to Jira software when it comes to our regular product engineering part to have proper workflow and reporting.
I really love the news that Atlassian acquired Trello, because Jira software, on the other side, we have been using forever for our Scrum processes in the engineering. And now it all fits together.
Working in recruitment, we need a lot of material that goes out there to our applicants, to the talents that brings across our employer brand. So that makes a cross-functional collaboration, for example, with the creative team, absolutely necessary. I think it was the creative team that actually came up with the Trello board that enabled them to prioritize all the tasks that were incoming and to also get a hold of the whole picture.
Atlassian helps Flixbus as a company to really concentrate on what matters and work efficiently and not deal with any software and tool obstacles.
As Flixbus is continuously growing and also growing in the future, we also look at Atlassian products to be part of this journey and to support us along the way.
So what a great example of using our products together. Thank you, Michael. So not only does Atlassian give you an incredible set of applications to choose from, but we give you an amazing amount of flexibility in how you deploy our products. Now, to talk about our deployment options and what's coming down the pipe in our Jira software, actually our server, our data center, and our cloud businesses, I'd now like to welcome to the stage the head of our server business, Brian Rollins.
Muchas gracias, señor Farquhar. Bienvenidos a España. Bienvenidos a Summit. Por todos los equipos. What? English? Everyone here speaks Australian? That's awesome. Wow. Well, what I wanted to talk to you today about is what Scott mentioned, Atlassian's unique capability that we offer choice in deployment options, and we continue to invest in each one of them. So many of you here today are server customers, deploying our software on a single server. It's the original Atlassian deployment option. Our second deployment option, Data Center, came about because over half of you told us that Atlassian software was mission critical to your team's daily lives. With Data Center, you can run our products in your own environment, on your own hardware, in a cluster, on your choice of operating system, your choice of database, or even in private cloud. It's highly available as well as more scalable. You get to deploy it, configure it, and manage it the way you want. That's Data Center. Now, our third deployment option is cloud. And more of you are choosing cloud offerings because you're adopting SaaS or cloud software as the default for how you run all applications for your teams. And the number of teams choosing the Atlassian cloud is not just growing, it's accelerating. That the number of customers for all of our deployment options is growing. And as that's happening, we're actually noticing that we're getting different feedback from each set of customers. For example, in server, customers are asking us for easier upgrades, which makes sense. But cloud customers aren't interested in upgrades. That's already taken care of for them. But for server customers, it's critical. And data center customers, who might have hundreds of teams or thousands of users spread around the world, they're going to have very different needs, let's say, than a 25-person startup that might be located in a single office. And so from our data center customers, they're asking us to help find ways to reduce application latency for their geographically distributed teams. And cloud customers have their own specific needs. Many of them are asking for specific integrations to other cloud apps, like PagerDuty or Envision or Salesforce. So to address this, to respond to these different needs, you will see us prioritize features differently across our different deployment options. You'll often see features appear first in cloud, where we can deploy more frequently and move quickly. After some time, you'll see some of these features appear in server, but again, based on your priority as a customer, based on your feedback to us. But you'll also see some features appear first in server, again, depending on the priority that we hear from our server customers. This is a change from our one-size-fits-all approach of the past. We're going to pursue more of your specific priority given your needs and your deployment option of choice. And we can take advantage of specific technologies on each platform so we can deliver the solution in the best possible way. Different capabilities for each deployment option. It's better for everyone. Now let's go a little deeper into each of the deployment options. Server. How many of you here are Atlassian server customers? Hands up for server. Awesome. I started my Atlassian journey as a server customer as well. We've delivered a lot for our server customers in the last year. In fact, in the last 12 months, we've resolved over 18,000 votes for all server products. We've shipped improvements in every server product, from customized notifications in Jira Service Desk, to code search in Bitbucket, to real-time collaborative editing in Confluence. So many of them, I couldn't even fit a fifth of them on this screen. And those votes don't even include the new things that we're going to show you here at Summit, like programs. Over the last couple of years, Portfolio for Jira, we've really delivered a lot around planning. We've really invested heavily here so that your teams could create detailed plans for what they were trying to build. But many of you have been asking for more of an enterprise view of planning. You may have plans for your platform teams, plans for your mobile team, plans for your marketing team, and your web teams as well. And you want a consolidated view across your business. Well, I'm excited to announce Portfolio Programs. And Programs gives you an aggregated view of your plans, so you get a full view of your business. And it's a key capability for enterprise portfolio management. Now, I mentioned upgrades before. We're also improving our installers for our server products. If you have difficulty upgrading our products, it means your teams can't get access to the new functionality that they need. And because of this, we've rebuilt the upgrade experience in Jira in 3 ways. First, we've put in more intelligence to prevent an upgrade for ever getting you into an inconsistent state. Next, we've actually provided more in-place troubleshooting, giving the admin actually the ability to resolve the issue that they're dealing with during the upgrade. And finally, we're providing you links to the troubleshooting guides on our knowledge bases and our facts so admins can quickly get unstuck and get their teams upgraded faster. Well, why do we choose these 3 specifics? Well, these improvements relate directly to 40% of the customer support cases that you've raised with us when you're asking for help during an upgrade. Easier upgrades, making it easier for you to keep your teams on the latest version, coming in the next version of Jira, and then Confluence is next. And Bamboo. Bamboo has expanded far beyond just continuous integration for Java. First, Bamboo now supports creating and storing build plans and configurations that were normally only accessible via the UI as code. So now allowing you to version your build plans right along with your source, for example, in Bitbucket. And there's a lot more in Bamboo 6.0, including out-of-the-box support for iOS and mobile builds for apps. Any Bamboo people in the house? Just out of curiosity? Awesome. And finally, in Jira Software, we've had Kanban boards for a while now. A lot of you probably use those for your teams that are more flow-based. But if you have really long list of tasks in the to-do column, well, it can get really unwieldy. So we've added backlogs for Kanban in Jira Software. So your Kanban board can basically focus on the items that really matter to your team. Now, this is an example of something I just talked about earlier. A feature that we first shipped in cloud, we've refined it, and now we've brought it to server because of your feedback that it was important to you and that it was a priority for you. So there's a lot of great things coming your way in server because of your feedback. Now, how many of you would here say, if Atlassian apps go down, work stops in my team? If Atlassian apps are slow, work slows down in my team? Yeah, absolutely. Not a surprise. But some of you, I would have thought maybe both hands, maybe a couple of feet might have gone up from the conversation, if you can keep your feet on the ground. But seriously, the feedback we get time and time again is how mission critical our applications are. And you're actually why we created Atlassian Data Center. One of our customers, LinkedIn, they had a great way of saying it, which is, for many of our teams, Jira is their reality. It's what they live in all day long. The board is their view of the world. And their Jira instance gets over 2.5 million hits a day. All your software teams, all your IT teams, perhaps every team in your organization, they depend on Atlassian every single day. Now, many of you are global, and there's not a day or not an hour where Jira or Confluence or Bitbucket aren't being used by some team. Even smaller organizations tell me we're in the top 5 most critical apps for their business. Now, in October, at US Summit, we talked about how Data Center is the solution where Atlassian is mission critical in your organization. And there were 4 main things that we were going to deliver in Data Center, and we've shipped every single one of them. For high availability, we shipped 0 downtime upgrades for Jira Software Data Center, so you don't have to spend your weekend doing upgrades anymore. For performance and scale, in December, we shipped our performance testing framework for Bitbucket Data Center, and our performance testing framework for Confluence Data Center is coming very soon. So you can test your data center environment at the scale that matches your user traffic, your load, your environment. And for additional performance for Bitbucket, we've made smart mirrors for Bitbucket even smarter. We sent them back to grad school. They got an advanced degree. These remote distributed mirrors for your Git repo, which make your local Git operations for your remote team much faster, they now support auth caching. And this actually means that your smart mirror is no longer dependent on your centralized infrastructure or network. And they now support remote build environments and distributed build environments. So your build server can get triggered exactly when your mirror is ready with the code. Now, to give you even more options where you can deploy Data Center, we created quick start guides and we created CloudFormation templates for Amazon Web Services. We shipped these for Jira Software and Bitbucket in September, then followed up with Jira Service Desk and recently with Confluence. So now you can deploy an auto-scaling cluster in Amazon Web Services for every Data Center product in just a matter of minutes. You can set up multiple clusters in minutes. It's pretty incredible. Now, I know a few of you are staring at the diagram. This is actually not how you get servers into private cloud. So don't rent balloons. You'll just lose your servers. Stick with the quick start guides, CloudFormation templates. That's the way to do it. We're also giving you more control of your data center environments by providing single sign-on via SAML for every single one of our data center applications. Recently, Confluence Data Center completed it, so SAML is now supported for every single data center application. Really exciting. And we're not done yet. Not only are we improving every single one of our existing data center products, but we're also adding more products to the family. If our CEO, Mike, can have some kids, so can Data Center. So we've announced a private beta for HipChat Data Center at US Summit. And given the success of that private beta, we're now opening it to everyone. So you can now try out HipChat Data Center in our public beta, and our GA launch is just around the corner. And one more new family member. We're not done. We have to outdo Mike. For many of you, your entire Atlassian infrastructure, you depend on Crowd. Now, Crowd is our identity management solution for authentication, authorization, and user management across the entire suite of Atlassian apps. So if Crowd isn't available, your users can't log in. So, of course, many of you asked us, please create Crowd Data Center, a highly available version of Crowd. I'm excited to announce it's in private beta today and will be in public beta very shortly. Another new member of the Data Center family. So what we see is more customers are standardizing on Data Center. They're deploying every single one of our Data Center applications as the foundation of how they run software development or DevOps or collaboration in their organization. We're committed to Data Center, and you can run your business on Data Center. So in addition to having every major Data Center product available, we've made it possible to order this entire set of Data Center applications, as well as our set of dev tools and all the Atlassian add-ons in a single subscription, one line item, one annual bill. And we call this the Atlassian Stack. It's just one more way we're trying to make it easier for you to standardize on Atlassian. And European customers like these, they've seen the difference when they've deployed Data Center. Higher availability, better performance, more flexibility in deployments, and more control of their infrastructure. Now, I've only gotten to scratch the surface here. If you'd like to know more about Data Center, Keshav, who's our head of product management, has got a session that starts just about half an hour after we end the keynote. So definitely check it out. Now, many of you here are actually headed in a very different direction with your infrastructure. You've embraced cloud applications, software as a service. You're running nothing on your own infrastructure. You're letting application vendors handle all of that for you. A big difference that we see for customers of cloud apps is that cloud teams, well, they expect automatic snap-in integrations that work with the rest of their tool chain. I mean, you heard Michael talk about this with Trello. They expect and they have access to one-click, easy integrations. I mean, much like cloud deployments, customers expect cloud integrations to be simple, without complex configuration. And Scott talked about how Atlassian apps are often that center of teamwork. So integrations then become even more critical when we're at the center. Now, because of this, we've worked very closely with some key vendors to make sure that our Atlassian cloud integrations are even more powerful than they were before. That's no surprise, given our background in software development, that software integrations appear quite a bit in the marketplace. And we've got a lot of them. Both the great set of existing add-ons and partners that we've had in the past, as well as a set of new integrations into cloud apps and services like Amazon's CodeStar. But now, as design and designers have become a lot more important to software teams and modern software development, we see a lot more demand for design integrations to the Atlassian cloud. And there's actually a whole new set of integrations for design tools with the Atlassian cloud for prototyping or for visual feedback. InVision is actually a super cool collaborative prototyping tool. That's a technical term. It allows you to pair a prototype with the Jira issue. So essentially, as the design and the prototype is changed by the design team, the story in Jira is always in sync. So your engineers always have the visual right in front of them as they're executing on the work, and the designers can always follow the work that the engineering team is doing. But of course, a lot of Atlassian integrations go beyond just software teams. Given that deployments in the cloud happen much more frequently and can happen very, very quickly, it's no surprise that ops becomes critical for our cloud customers. And since our tools are often fundamental to how IT ops or how DevOps teams work, we've seen a lot of integrations grow in the ops space around the Atlassian cloud. PagerDuty is a great example of this. They provide a great ops integration with HipChat, what we often call chat ops. So not only does PagerDuty post critical messages into your team's HipChat room, but it actually gives you a sidebar panel so you can actually respond and react to incidents that occur. So you can actually report or even respond to incidents. But if you're all about the command line, guess what? You can also use text chat commands to respond to incidents or report new incidents as they arise as well. So pretty exciting. Now, beyond software and IT teams, we see all types of teams using the Atlassian cloud. And Trello, of course, is accelerating Atlassian's adoption in business teams. We see customers looking for integrations with tools that their customer-facing teams use, customer support, sales, service, as well as internal teams like HR and finance. You can find more and more of these on the Atlassian marketplace. Workato is a great example here. They can automate almost any task you have across cloud apps. They provide recipes that are basically packed with all those difficult integration features behind the scenes so they can handle complex data transformations, data duplication, conditional triggers, actions. And you can use recipes for Salesforce, for Box, for SendGrid, you name it. They've got it. Here, you can actually see a really simple case. If you want to integrate Salesforce and Jira, all you need is a simple trigger and some actions. Your teamwork now extends through the Atlassian apps to the rest of your business. And the total number of cloud add-ons has nearly doubled over the last year. There are now 700 cloud add-ons and integrations in the Atlassian marketplace. So I want to say a special thanks to these 30 key vendors who created these new integrations just in the last 6 months. So please join me in giving them a round of applause to thank them for all the hard work. It's really great. So your team can now extend their work to other apps like they could. And the Atlassian cloud is connecting you and your team to the rest of the world. So that's a quick update on server, data center, and cloud. You can choose the deployment option that works for you. It's a unique aspect of our model. And we continue to support your ability to migrate between deployment options as your choices or your infrastructure preferences evolve. And while I only had time to cover a few aspects of what's new in each particular deployment option, I want to emphasize that regardless of your deployment option, we continue to invest and continue to improve each one of them in a way that reflects your priorities. I'm looking forward to catching up with a lot of you over the next couple of days. Cheers, and please enjoy Summit.
Thank you, Brian. Lastly today, I want to share with you the excitement I have about how we're transforming the way you interact with our products. We've embarked on a massive redesign of our cloud products, and I'm really excited to show it to you today. To do that, I'd like to welcome to the stage our head of the design at Atlassian, Jürgen Spangl. Jürgen.
Thank you, Scott. About 15 years ago, I came across this great quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was a Supreme Court justice, and he thought deeply about simplicity. Simplicity on the far side of complexity. This quote stuck with me. It's dear to my heart. It inspires me, and it drives me when I design. I'm fascinated by finding the simplicity of the far side of complexity. But what does this even mean? So usually when you start working on a problem, you think it's straightforward. You jump in there, and you jump on the first simple solution. And then you keep working. And then you put it on your problem. And then you realize, whoa, this beast is bigger than I thought it would be. It's way more complex. And you realize your solution doesn't work. You came up with something which doesn't actually fix the problem. So you came up with a too simplistic solution. And then if you're something like me, you keep pushing. You look at it from different angles, you try it again, and you push forward. And more often than not, you land on a complicated solution. You tackled all those challenges in there, and that's usually where most people give up. I love keep going further. Keep pushing. Often you fail, and then you need to persevere, and you look at it from more and more angles. And then, if you're lucky, and if you keep pushing, you land on a simple solution. And it's more often than not elegant. And now you might ask yourself, why didn't I see this when I started? But you couldn't. You had to walk through this whole experience, through this journey, going through this complex situation to land on this simple solution. And finding this simplicity on the far side of complexity is what I'm fascinated by. But why I'm telling you all of this? Teamwork. Teamwork is complicated. Teamwork is messy. There's so many team members in there, each one with a different background, each one with a different perspective. So teamwork is messy. The beauty of teamwork is, if done right, it's simplicity on the far side of complexity. And that's what we are passionate about. We are passionate about it at Atlassian to figure out what can we do every step on the way to make teamwork less complex, less messy. What can we do so that you can focus on your complex problems, being creative, and doing all of this without being hindered by the complexity of our tools? So I'd now like to take you on the journey we have taken over the last few years before I jump into the next chapter. This is Jira about 15 years ago. It's a beauty, isn't it? There was not a single designer on the team. Mike, our co-founder, actually designed this in Adobe Fireworks. Designed by an engineer for engineers. 2012, they hired me. And my first job was to fire Mike from the design team. Luckily, we found him another job. Since then, we have listened to you, we have harmonized our products, and we made them easier for you to use. We did this by introducing our design guidelines, and they help us to build a harmonious experience across all of our products. But we know that this is not enough. We are not there yet. We need to do our next chapter, and that's our third chapter. We are calling this chapter Simply Powerful. We listened to you, and you told us that you like the flexibility and simplicity, flexibility and power of our tools. But they are not easy enough to use. They're not easy enough for you to bring this power to all of your teams. You want to bring those tools not just to your engineering teams, but also your marketing teams and your HR teams. So Simply Powerful is about creating those intuitive and simplified experiences so that you can share this with all of your teams. And we know that very effective teams are fun to be in. They have a high trust amongst them. And they reflect the individual's perspective. And that's why we are wrapping Simply Powerful with this human layer. We are bringing warmth and trust to our tools so that you can get this out there. So bringing Simply Powerful to life is a massive step for us. And today, I'd like to share the biggest redesign we have done at Atlassian for our cloud products. Let me roll a short video which gives you a brief glimpse at how this experience will feel and look like. How about that? Isn't it beautiful? It's simple and warm, yet functional and powerful. The team did such an awesome job on it. And the customers love it. We launched this to Bitbucket last week, and the feedback we are receiving is overwhelmingly positive. And yes, James, we are bringing it to Jira. And if you're watching live right now, just wait a few more minutes, and I will show this to you. But before I do this, I'd like to nerd out a little bit of how we came up with this experience so that you understand what this means for your teams. So I'm a designer. I'm a craftsperson. And as all craftspeople, when they start doing something, they take it apart. They go down to the core and then build it up again. And that's what we did at Atlassian. We went down to first principles. We tried to understand what does it make teamwork? What is it? What is behind? And what we found was that it's you, the people, and the content. So we want to connect the people and the people to the content. So how are we doing this? So that's Jira here, our current version of Jira, and the view issue screen. And we took it apart. We took away the header, we took away the sidebar, and this left us with the content. But we didn't stop there. We dug deep in our data, we talked to many of you, and you told us it needs to be simpler. It needs to be easier to read, easier to comprehend. So that's what we did. We removed unnecessary lines, gradients, removed the clutter. We introduced a grid system, aligned all the things, so that it makes it a lot easier to read for you. And we also updated our colors so that they are warmer and friendlier. But of course, they are still accessible. And only then did we add the global navigation system. But you might ask, why did we move it to the left? So let me take you even deeper into the whole product system, how we built this up. We knew that many of you have many of our products. And we knew that you wanted to navigate across those products. So let's start with the content. The content is our hero. So we put this first. And then we are adding the layer where the content needs to live in. That's projects in Jira, spaces in Confluence, a repository in Bitbucket, or a room in HipChat. And you told us that you didn't like how to navigate in a project or in a space. They were not similar enough. So we made this easier for you and harmonized those navigation patterns. But those projects and spaces have to live somewhere. And that's our next layer, our global layer, the blue one. And this layer helps you to easily search and create across our products. This is our global layer where we bring all the things together. And this system translates across all our products. So you have Jira here. This works in Confluence, Bitbucket, HipChat, and back to Jira again. It creates a simple system for you which can be easily extended to more products so that we can scale in the future and bring even more products into our family. And of course, this system also works on mobile. So here you have it. We put it all together in an amazing experience across all our products and across all our devices. That's how we drafted our new experience. I'm excited now to share how we bring this alive in 3 of our products. First up, Confluence. You told us you liked the power of our editor in Confluence, but it was not simple enough and easy enough to craft beautiful content. So what we did, we completely reworked the editing experience in Confluence. We focused on the most important actions for you, like formatting, bullets, tasks, and tables, and made them as easily accessible as possible. But of course, we still have all the power you're used to from Confluence. You might also have realized we have a new layout type. We have a layout type now with fixed line lengths because these are easier to read. But we also know that you love complex tables and you need this to bring all the content to life and larger diagrams. So that's why we still have full width table layout. And then the next feature is something which I believe many of you will like. Next to the already powerful autocompletes which we have in Confluence, we added Markdown support so that you can write even faster and easier your beautiful content. And now let's come back to the people. I talked about it's about the content and the people. And you love the collaborative editing, but you told us it's not simple enough to bring other people in. So we made this a lot simpler, but just letting you invite more and more people, and then they come in, and off you go. Together as a team, you create the best looking content. And that's how this content looks like when you look at it at the view page. Helping you get your point across in the best way. And you also told us that you usually catch up on things, and you catch up on your mobile. So that's why we brought you your most recent pages you collaborated on to your mobile. And you can now catch up from here and edit your content and create new content with simple formatting options. And this rounds up Confluence. Next up, Jira Software. That's the board you all know, our Kanban board, and they are functional, and the team have worked hard to try and show the right level of information. But too often we have piled in too much information there. And when you look at the view issue on the right-hand side, it crams the whole board and squashes everything together, and it's hard to read. So we reworked the boards and cleaned everything up so that you can focus on your work. Can I have the house lights for a minute? I'd like to show your hands. Who is a Jira admin here? Whoa, that's about half to 2/3 of the room. Hello, admins. You guys are crucial for our teams. You guys are crucial for setting teamwork up. How you can configure the workflows makes your teams work. So you will like the next feature which I'm about to show you, because you told us it's not simple enough and not easy enough to find how to change the boards. So we brought this right to the front end. You now can create new columns and new workflow steps right out of the board. And of course, this is still connected to all the power of the Jira workflow system. You also told us that once your project is going, you still would like to add new issues. And we didn't make this simple enough for you. So now you can create issues wherever you need them. And now let's go to the most visited screen in Jira, View Issue. As I shared earlier, we redesigned the View Issue from the ground up. You can now maintain the context of your board or wherever you were in Jira, and you can immediately get going within the Jira ticket. But what about editing? So we brought the editing experience from Confluence all the way to Jira, and yes, it also comes with Markdown support. And you can have this in the comments and in the summary field. You also told us that adding attachments is too clunky. So we now made it easier, and we are bringing you your favorite file hosting services like Dropbox and Google Drive, and make it very simple for you to attach files to the View Issue. And also the preview is now not nicer. And can you remember when I talked about humans and bringing kind of like trust to teams? And great teamwork needs to reinforcing this trust and emotional connections. So I'm pleased to share that we are bringing reactions to Jira as a first step, Jira Cloud, and we are rolling this out to additional products later on. So this makes it very easy for you to express your feelings to your team so that you get more connected with them. And if any one of you have kids, my kids tell me that in a few years' time, that's the way how we actually talk. So James, who remembers James? James talked about Bitbucket. That's how Bitbucket actually looks like. And during the redesign, we created more capability so that you can have the context when you look at an issue. So we brought View Issue also to Bitbucket, so you now can pick up on your Jira issue right in the context you are in. Let's go back to Jira again. Jira Mobile this time. You love our mobile app, and you asked us, can you please bring backlog also to mobile? And yes, we can. So I'm super proud about the team who shipped Backlog on mobile a few weeks ago. And then you told us that you love bringing your heavy laptops to stand-ups. Not. So that's why we built Jira for iPad, and our awesome mobile team didn't just build it for Jira, but they also built Confluence for iPad for Confluence Cloud. And the beauty of them is, both of them work in sync. When you see it working on iPad split screen, you can navigate Jira from Confluence when you click on an issue link in Confluence. Jira automatically updates. And this is available today for Confluence and Jira Cloud. So let me pause here for a second, and let me recap. We have seen a lot today already. We have seen the new design of Confluence. We have seen the new design of Jira. And we have seen how these designs come to life in mobile and in iPad. But we are thinking about a whole family of our applications. And that's where Atlassian Home kicks in. Atlassian Home is our newest application and built ground up on the new design language. Remember these 3 layers? The first one, your issues and pages. Your second, projects and spaces. The third one is all about the global context. This is where we bring together all our products in one product. And we call this Atlassian Home. You told us that it's often hard to find pieces of work when they were scattered across our many apps. When we wanted to simplify this for you, we wanted to make this all available in one space, and that's Atlassian Home. One place where you can find, resume, and staying on top of your work. And Home adapts to your needs. It becomes smart over time. So let me give you an overview. On the left, we have Global Search, which initially supports Jira and Confluence, and allows you to search through your recent projects, spaces, issues, and pages. Later on, we will extend to include all of our products. And remember that page, what you were working on yesterday, and you can't find it anymore? That's me. And you probably would have experienced this as well. That's why we are adding a Your Work section to Atlassian Home. And this section is learning over time. It picks up the work which is relevant for you, where you got mentioned, where you worked on, where you collaborated with your team members on. And what we learned during research is, if we actually show you those team members, it's a lot easier for you to pick up the work where you left off. Just underneath it is your recent work, so that you can pick up from there as well. But what about when you want to navigate to a project or a space? So now in Home, we capture your recent projects and recent spaces in the sidebar, so that it's very easy for you to continue work wherever you left off. And this is Atlassian Home. One place to find all the things you're working on across many of our products, and in the future we will bring all our products, but we won't stop there. We're actually planning to opening this up for third-party integrations. So this will make Home a powerful place where you and your team get work done. So here you have it. I'm super pumped about this new experience, about Simply Powerful, and this big and best redesign we have ever done at Atlassian. And it's starting to rolling out from today to some of our cloud customers. And we are continually rolling it out over the next few weeks and months to more of our products, and we keep adding and refining our designs and features. And you're a key part of this journey. We need your feedback to make it even better. And if you want to experience it today, stop by at the feedback zone at the expo hall and let us know what you think. Thank you.
I could not be more excited about those design changes. If you think you love our products now, you are going to absolutely adore them with these new interfaces. And even more importantly is there's people in your organizations, people that aren't using our products every day, and your lives are going to become a lot easier because this new interface is going to make it much easier for them to adapt the Atlassian tool suite in the way that they work. So I could not be more excited. So you've heard from us today. You've heard about how we're improving our experience for our European customers. You've heard how we've welcomed another broad-based collaboration product in Trello into the Atlassian family. You've heard how we are prioritizing differently across our cloud, server, and data center lines. And lastly, you heard from Jürgen around how we're completely redesigning the interfaces of our products. That's just the start of Summit. You're going to hear many more things over the coming days. And I want to say a thank you to all of our leaders who are up on stage, Michael, Jürgen, and Brian. We are lucky to have incredible leaders here at Atlassian. But we have over 2,000 Atlassians standing behind us. 2,000 Atlassians is a huge recent milestone for us. And these Atlassians are working every day to help make your teams more effective. We have 200 of them here at Summit. Please make sure you reach out to us. We're wearing special staff jerseys. You can find us pretty easily. We're here to help answer your questions. Anything you've heard in the keynote, anything you hear anywhere, please reach out. But also give us feedback. We want to hear the things that we do well. We want to hear the things that we could improve on, because as we improve, that helps your teams improve as well. We're glad we get to work with amazing teams in this room, but also amazing teams such as the team from the Daily Telegraph, who bring news to more than 2 million people a day. The team at Ryanair, who use our products to bring affordable travel to more than 34 countries. The team at Spotify, who uplift us with the music that we love. The team at Audi, who make driving enjoyable. And the team at Skyscanner, who help over 60 million people book travel every single month. We're incredibly proud to help those teams like yours in over 85,000 companies around the world. And as I mentioned before, all this would not be possible without you. I want to thank you, each and every one of you here in the room, and those of you watching at home. Thank you for sharing our passion for great teams. Thank you for sharing our mission to unleash the potential of every team. And so from me and Mike, a huge thank you. Enjoy the rest of Summit. I hope to see many of you at the Summit Bash tomorrow night, and keep doing amazing things. Thank you all.